Hello and welcome to Miniature Adventures. I'm Big Lee, and this week I want to talk about narrative campaigns. Now, if there's one thing I've realised over the years in tabletop gaming, is that my roots in role-playing games never really left me. Long before I was ever worrying about whether a battalion had enough flank support, I was sitting around tables creating stories. I spent years writing scenarios for role-playing games, building adventures, inventing characters, and eventually crafting entire fantasy worlds from scratch. Not just maps of random places, place names scribbled on them, but settings with history, politics, rivalries, myths, religions, ruined empires, all the little details that made a world feel believable. And the funny thing is that none of that realism depended on realism at all. I just filled my settings with dragons and elves and undead knights and fireballs slinging wizards, but so long as the world behaved consistently, if people had believable motivations and had actions and their actions had consequences, my players accepted it completely. It felt real because it had depth and it had character. Now, as time has gone on, of course I still enjoy role-playing games, but like many of us, wargaming and painting consume most of my hobby time these days. Building entire fictional worlds from the ground up is a luxury I rarely have time for anymore. But I've realised something really important. Those old world building skills are still incredibly useful when designing tabletop wargames and scenarios. In fact, I think a lot of the things that make role-playing games memorable can massively improve the narrative side of wargaming, because ultimately what keeps us talking about a game years later usually isn't who technically won, it's the story that emerged from the table itself. Now, for me, it all comes down to character. When people hear the word character in gaming, they often think of named heroes or commanders, but the concept can be much broader than that. In storytelling, a character can be a person, but it can also be a place, a landscape, even the weather. Now, for example, in our 1812 retreat from Moscow skirmish rules, one scenario is shaped entirely by a blizzard, turning a simple goal of evading pursuers into a dual struggle against the Russians and the storm itself. It forces dynamic change on the French players. Their groups will suffer setbacks, growing confidence or collapse under pressure. The players and their figures are on an emotional and physical journey that is much more interesting and memorable than simply getting from point A to point B unscathed. So why don't we lean more into that when we're wargaming? Why not allow character development to become part of the game itself? Imagine a nervous militia officer gradually becoming a respected battlefield leader across several games. Imagine a cavalry regiment that develops a reputation for reckless heroics after repeatedly charging at the worst possible moment. Imagine a village on a table not just being a random terrain piece, but a place with strategic, political or emotional importance to the people fighting over it. Suddenly the game becomes more than just moving miniatures around. It becomes a story unfolding in real time. Now, before we move on, I want to give a quick shout out to the amazing people who make these videos possible, our channel members. If you're enjoying the content, please consider joining. Membership starts at just £1. Now, back to today's topic. At its core, storytelling is actually built on a very simple structure. You tell a compelling story, you only really need 4 key elements: participants, a beginning, a middle and an end. Or to put it another way, backstory, protagonists, action and outcome. The backstory explains how we got here, the protagonists are the leading characters or factions on both sides, the action is what actually happens during the game, and the outcome determines the consequences. That's it. That structure works for novels, films, TV series, role-playing campaigns and tabletop wargames campaigns alike. The really interesting thing is that the outcome itself can become the backstory for another game, and once that starts happening, you've essentially created a campaign. Suddenly individual games stop feeling isolated, they become chapters in a larger story. A disastrous retreat in one game creates the desperate defensive battle in the next. A heroic stand buys time for reinforcements later in the campaign. A commander disgraced in defeat may return seeking redemption. Those links between games create emotional investment, and emotional investment makes games feel more immersive and more believable. Ironically, narrative often creates realism far better than obsessing over tiny historical details ever could. And of course, traditional wargaming has always had ways to create narrative, even if we don't always think of them in storytelling terms. Conflicting objectives are probably the oldest one. One side must hold a bridge while the other must destroy it. One army is trying to evacuate supplies while the other tries to cut off the retreat. The objectives themselves instantly create tension and narrative. Handouts can help enormously too. Old maps, written orders, intercepted messages, secret objectives. All these things help players feel like participants in a story rather than detached referees pushing toy soldiers around. Leader traits and flaws are another brilliant tool. Giving commanders personalities changes decision making. A cautious general might refuse risky attacks. An aggressive officer might gain bonuses when charging but struggle to disengage. Suddenly players are not just making optimal tactical decisions, they're role-playing command personalities. Special actions can reinforce those traits even further. Maybe a reckless cavalry commander can attempt a glorious but dangerous charge. Maybe an incompetent officer delays reinforcement rolls because he's too busy writing lengthy reports to headquarters. That's narrative emerging through game mechanics. Now, one of my favourite techniques is using a game within a game, and this is actually something I saw at Partisan the other week. A massive battle might pause briefly while a tiny skirmish resolves a critical moment in detail. Perhaps a commando raid determines whether a bridge is destroyed. Maybe a sniper duel decides whether a key officer survives. These little zoomed in moments create cinematic tension, make players feel like individual actions matter amidst the chaos of the larger conflict. And of course there's the classic random arrival of reinforcements, the famous Blucher moment. That uncertainty creates drama naturally. Will help arrive in time? Will the flank collapse first? Players remember those moments because uncertainty creates strong emotions. But I do think we can go even further if we borrow more techniques directly from storytelling itself. Referring back to those four elements, backstory, protagonist, action and outcome, you can structure a scenario almost like a film or novel. Start with a detailed introduction that sets the scene properly. Don't just say the French attacked the village. Tell players why the village matters. Explain the exhaustion of the troops, the weather, the political pressure, the fear of failure. Build atmosphere before the first dice has even been rolled. Then make sure the protagonists are genuinely different from one another. Not just different uniforms or army lists, but different strengths, different weaknesses and motivations. Maybe one side is experienced but exhausted. Maybe the other is experienced but fanatically determined. As the game unfolds, introduce pre-planned events or scripted updates that move the story forwards. Civilians flee through the battlefield, ammunition runs low, a courier arrives with contradictory orders, a storm begins to roll in. These little narrative punctuations keep the game feeling alive and dynamic rather than static. Most importantly, make the outcome matter beyond simply counting victory points. Think tactically and strategically. Which officers survived? Who distinguished themselves? Who failed disastrously? Who faces disgrace or court-martial? Which units become legendary? Which are shattered beyond recovery? And then tell the after story. Speculate about what happens next. Does the victory change the course of the war? Does the defeat spark political turmoil? These little epilogues give players closure and make the battle feel like part of a living world. And really, once you start doing that consistently, you're naturally drifting towards campaigns, because campaigns are simply stories told over multiple games. They contain protagonists, beginnings, middles and endings. They use history, real or fictional, as backstory. They allow multiple characters and factions to develop intertwined stories, motivations and rivalries. Decisions become nuanced because actions have lasting consequences. Suddenly sacrificing a veteran unit isn't just a tactical calculation. It's a meaningful choice that affects future games and future stories. Players become emotionally invested, not only in victory, but in survival, reputation and legacy. It occurs to me that the more you look at it, the more campaigns start sounding suspiciously like role-playing games. We already track character progression, persistent injuries, evolving stories and long-term consequences. The divide between narrative wargaming and role-playing games is often much smaller than we pretend. In many ways, wargaming is at its best when it embraces that overlap instead of avoiding it. Because at the end of the day, most of us are not just collecting miniatures to optimise spreadsheets or simulate mathematics. We're creating stories of desperate last stands, impossible victories, heroic moments that emerge organically across the tabletop. So what do you think? Do you enjoy narrative-driven wargaming and campaigns, or do you prefer tighter competitive scenarios with less storytelling? Have you ever borrowed ideas from role-playing games when creating your own games or campaigns? And what are the most memorable stories that have ever emerged naturally from your tabletop battles? Let me know in the comments below, because I genuinely love to hear how other gamers bring narrative and character into their own hobby worlds. So that's it for this week. Please join the chat in the comments below, and of course don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell for your weekly fix. So until next week, stay safe, keep gaming, and of course keep rolling high.